This afternoon, we're also continuing our conversation on pensions. Last week, we dealt with how our pensions are managed and what to do to ensure a decent retirement. We also engaged industrial players on how informal sector workers can benefit from the opportunities available in the pensions industry, explaining the important role the informal sector plays in the development agenda. Today, our focus is on the showbiz sector, with the Ghanaian society gradually shifting from the dependency culture. Individuals will have to take their destinies into their own hands and prepare for the future. You may have followed conversations about how prominent showbiz personalities struggle to survive post their stardom. Our question this afternoon is, how should showbiz personalities prepare for their retirement? How will life be after showbiz? My guest for this discussion this afternoon is Rex Omar. He is chairman of GAMRO. He's joining us via Zoom. The grandpapa of hip life, Reggie Ruxin, is also joining this conversation. And from the other side is TikTok and Akoshe Japan. We are fortunate to also be joined by the acting public affairs manager of SNIT, Charles Geshon Akwe. I'm grateful for your time, ladies and gentlemen, for this discussion. I mean, let me start with recent events, which has actually reignited a conversation of this nature. I'm sure you've been following recent issues affecting veteran actor Sam Ajete, popularly known as Titi, who is currently struggling to take care of his hospital bills. How are you in the showbiz taking this? I want to start with you, Rex Omar.
I believe that, first and foremost, Ghana, a lot of people, not only in the creative industry, a lot of people don't have this kind of financial education. So people get money and they don't have this kind of savings culture. And because of that, it creates a lot of problems. Now, let me come back to the creative industry. There are people, look, in Ghana, I can say that more than 80% of people who are in the creative industry are not gainfully employed.
Why?
What I mean by this is the fact that you see somebody on television acting all the time does not mean he's actually making money, because creative people are driven by passion. Once they have the talent, even if he is being underpaid or is not even being paid, some of them will want to do the work so that they can be seen. If you look at the generation that has been going in public soliciting for funding, are the generation who during their time did not really make money. But then I'm not saying this to exonerate or protect anybody. The most important thing is, it's only recently that even informal sector was rolled into our pension architecture. Because previously we didn't have the tier 2 and tier 3. All we had was government workers paying to SNIT. So it's only recently that this tier 2 and tier 3 came in, that it roped in the informal sector. But how much education have we been able to do? Not only to the creative people, also to the market women, also to everybody who forms the informal sector. So I think that it is a narrative that we should change among ourselves in the creative economy, especially with the music industry. People, we've done small pensions and the tier 3 and all those things, but it's also an individual thing. There are people, no matter how much education you give them, they want to live a reckless life. So I think that it is something that we need to deal with, honestly.
Reggie Ruxin, how does this event come across to you? All right, so Reggie will join us shortly. Akoshe Japan is here, the only lady for this discussion. All right, so let's go to TikTok first, and then when we get these two, they can also join in this discussion. TikTok, how does this event come across to you? You're quite young in the industry.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. For me, I just think it's about planning. And like Rechima said, until recently, we weren't captured in the breakdown of a proper management of retirement. Until recent times now, in the private sector, things are changing. But I mean, for me, it boils down to your way of life, and planning. Because if you have proper planning, you know that no matter what happens, you need to have life after, not even after, even when you're prominent, it's still important to have something that you can be doing on the side. Because, I mean, once you're not the hardest person doing whatever you do, obviously, there will be some sort of shift in focus on your part. So for me, I always think that it's important that as an artist, you find a way to.
All right. So TikTok has frozen.
She called me TikTok.
All right, so we're having internet connection with TikTok. Let me bring in Rexoma again. This is not a peculiar only to Samajete Theo. We've heard about many other prominent artists, actors who retire and now struggle to fend for themselves. I mean, how big is this problem?
Thank you very much. This problem is very big. Honestly speaking, it is scary because, as I said, a lot of the people that we see in our creative economy, if you don't, by some reason or some advice, find something to support you as an artist. I mean, do another business to support you as an artist. Unless you are part of the, let's say, 10%, top 10% people who are making real money, that you can invest some to sustain you in the future. Most of them are not gainfully employed. So the one is even earning, it is intermittent. I mean, he does something, gets some small money, 3 months, and later, after 6 months, before he gets one show to play and all that. So it's not as if some of them make so much money and they don't invest. There are some of them who make so much money and they don't invest, but majority of them don't make that money. And also, even if they were making the money, unless a system like now that we can say, okay, we can do tier 3. I know that there are a lot of people in the informal sector, in the creative economy, that have subscribed to the tier 3 pensions. But when it was not there, it was not there. Yes, it depends on how your upbringing is. There are people that from the family, they will advise you investment and savings and all that. And it's only few people that have this opportunity. So I prefer that we would rather use some of these opportunities to encourage and advise people, especially the young people and up-and-coming people, to take investment seriously, because no matter what you do, one day you get old. And if we say investment, not only cash investment, you can invest in property, you can buy land, because land is only stuff that it keeps adding value. This is our CD thing that even you can, I have a sister who is a teacher. After working for over 30-something years, he went for a pension and some small money they gave her. So some of these things also discourage people, So it is a whole conversation that must be taken seriously. And thank God that now the pension architecture has brought in the informal sector. So SNET and all the people who are involved in this must drum it into the heads of people so that the people in the informal sector can also get involved in these things.
Thankfully, we have a representative from SNET who will be telling us more about what package is it for showbiz personalities, where they really belong. But Reggie Ruxin has just joined us. Reggie Ruxin, we're talking about recent events that has made all of us to be concerned about what showbiz personalities do to get a decent retirement after they've retired from showbiz.
Hello.
Hi, Reggie Ruxin. So I'm asking you to tell me how you feel about recent events that has brought us all here to discuss this. I mean, you may have heard about Sam Ajitefio, who is currently struggling to take care of his hospital bills and what have you, and all the matters arising with this.
Okay, Madam Asi. I simply say, headline I'm using, minimum and yarding. I don't agree with it. Reason, I'll tell you why. Sabi, nipa wu debia. Nipa. Make us say kro obi ewu, and also obi ewu. Make us say yawu obi. So, in the order of life, somebody's coming in, someone is leaving. However, man must work. It doesn't have anything to do with people in show business. I know people who are not in show business, went to school, got a job, and fell on hard times because, you know, of the uncertainties of life.
We've not ruled out that fact. In fact, we've been talking about pensions for different sectors. And today we are focusing on showbiz personalities, especially because you're always on TV, the fame and everything. And then just one day you're struggling. That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, but I don't want to be put in the microscope on just. When I speak on this, I want to speak on. It's like recent. A lot of musicians just happened to pass away, you know, at a certain time. Hey man, say your musicians new wool. No, people die all the time. It's just because these people are popular. That's how you know. Yeah, that's what we're baby. You know, so that whole generic vibe that they put to it, you know, it just, I'm sorry, it just irritates me. You know, we all bleed red. We all human beings. We all have to work, whether you work at the harbor without making music. So the reason why you could put a microscope on us is because they are in the limelight. That's the only reason why. You're not kind of to say, yeah, show business. And on all kind of, they're on TV. But people are hustling everywhere. People are hustling everywhere. So when I speak, I'm a people's person. I wanted to touch everyone. And you're pensioner, and you'll be because we are all going to grow. You know, so I think this is just for entertainment purposes that we put that on the people who are in entertainment.
And
it's never sat right with my spirit where people, oh yeah, you guys, and you know what it does, sister? What it does is it puts extra pressure on these so-called entertainers because they've been put in this bubble for fantasy. You know, oh, look, people equate fame to money. Where's that? The fact that somebody's popular means that they should be well-to-do. No. It's not real. This is why I live a real life. I've always lived a real life. And yet, okay, the legendary Rockstone, boom, boom, boom. I'm selling watches, and I'm a proud watches seller. I'm the best out here. That's it. All you know me for is my music. Show business never swallowed me. Never did, never will.
Right. Let's now understand the situation of showbiz personnel, where they are classified within the pension scheme. Is it formal or informal, Mr. Gishan?
Thank you very much. Before I come to that, Rexoman raised a point that until recently that we had the 3-tier pension scheme coming up, SNIT was not covering people in the showbiz industry or people in the informal sector.
Okay.
SNIT has always been there for every worker in Ghana. So nobody is exempted from contributing to the SNIT scheme.
But it hasn't penetrated enough in the informal sector, right? Correct?
All right, we do not have so many people in the informal sector joining the SNET scheme for various reasons. I'm sure in the course of it, I'll touch on that. But workers in the informal sector, including showbiz personalities, are permitted to join the Social Security scheme, and they will join as voluntary contributors. So for those of us working for others, we are employees. So the law makes it mandatory for us to be registered and for employers to contribute on our behalf. But when you are doing your own business, like you're in the entertainment industry, you will have to walk to SNET and say, I want to contribute towards my retirement. This issue of pension is only a segment or an aspect of retirement planning. All of us working need to plan towards our retirement. And we retire through various means, either by old age, so we go on retirement, or we are compelled to retire as a result of permanent invalidity. So people become ill along the line and they are unable to work again, or doctors have declared them not fit to work again. When such a situation comes up, then irrespective of the age, once the person has done 12 months of contribution within the past 36 months or 3 years, SNET is compelled to put the person on pension. So as I speak, we have 30 years old, 40 years old who are receiving monthly pension. But for those of us who are strong to work till 55 years or 60, then we need to go through the hall, made minimum 180 months to be able to qualify to receive monthly pension. So I'll say that those who are in the showbiz industry, you can just walk into any SNET office and we'll have a discussion. What kind of retirement do you want to have? Rex raised an issue that of the teacher who retired and the pension was relatively low. When you work, the years of service is guaranteeing you a percentage of the salary you declared to us. So if you declare a salary of 5,000 cedis to SNET, based on which you'll be paying your premium or you'll be insuring your retirement, then you are only telling us that, please, if I work for 35 years, give me 60% of the average of my best 3-year salary. So that is what you are qualifying for. The number of years is only giving you 60% of the average of the best 3-year salary you communicated to us. So once you've told us your salary is 5,000 cedis or you are paying yourself 5,000 cedis, we'll help you establish how much contribution you have to pay, which tallies with the 5,000. And that is 13.5% of the 5,000. Once you retire after 35 years or so of service or of working or contributing to SNET, then we are going to give you 60% of that 5,000, which is going to be starting your pension on, say, 3,000 cedis. And this is subject to annual increment. So it is not the case that pensions are low. It is the case that the salaries on which people are contributing are low. So what you contribute will determine what you get. As it is, everybody can join the SNET scheme irrespective of the work that they are doing. It is not for only formal sector workers. It embraces every worker in Ghana, and everybody is treated equally. It is not only towards old age, but it is also towards invalidity.
So as we've seen with the informal sector, the last time we had the conversation, a number of them said they did not even know how to go about it, where to go, what processes to get themselves insured or to pay something small towards their future. I mean, what are the plans? And if you come to the showbiz sector, have you had some personalities showing interest because you classify them to be part of the informal sector, right?
Yes.
So have you had some of them come up showing interest in these pension schemes?
I wouldn't have names readily available, but what we intend doing this year, and the Director General of SNET will be launching that pretty soon. This year we are focusing on the informal sector, and we've always been saying on different platforms that even before it is launched, we encourage everybody to join the SNET scheme don't wait till the launch, because as it is today, the scheme is embracing everybody. We know some of the people in the showbiz industry, they have virtually formalized. So not everybody will fall into this category of informal sector. What we realized over the years, for which reason we are doing this campaign to rope in more workers in the informal sector, is that there's this information gap where people in the informal sector believe that the SNIT scheme is for only workers in the formal sector. That is not the truth. So we are focusing on that agenda or that campaign, and we're going to get some of these showbiz players to support the campaign, so that we'll try and change this issue of old age destitute in our societies. We have a lot of people, not just in the showbiz industry, who are beyond the age of 55 or 60. Now they don't have the strength to go about what they were doing previously, and they also don't have the means to cater for themselves. It is a challenge because they become, for lack of better words, a burden on their family, burden on society. But if they have contributed something small, then they will be receiving monthly remittance from the Social Security and National Insurance Trust. So we are going to move out strongly, and I'll plead that please help us move out there, because if you look at the pension statistics today, we have only 225,000 people on the pensions payroll. So of the very numerous people above 60 years, only 225,000 of them are on the SNIT pensions payroll. And if you look at the current contributor population, the number of people who are paying contributions to SNIT, it's just about 1.7 million workers. And if you look at this, we have almost 30 million workers in the informal sector, including showbiz industry players. But how many of them are contributing? Just below 20,000 of people in the informal sector contribute towards their retirement. And that is why this year we want to drive that agenda to get everybody on board, those in the showbiz industry, those in the market, those doing their Uber, their Bolt or Yango, the trotro driver in the corner, the watch seller at the junction. We want to make sure that everybody comes on board. So in the event of invalidity or old age, they will have something to fall on from SNIT.
Thankfully, Rexoma is still with us. With these assurances coming from SNIT, how do you intend to pull along your colleagues to actually develop interest in actually building a better future for themselves?
Thank you very much. I think that for GAMRO, for example, we did a tier 3 for some of our members, but as I said, it's all education. So we will start to talk to our people. We'll liaise with Musica and then start to talk to our people to educate them that it is very important, especially with the people in the creative economy. Apart from the fashion people, music and acting and all those things, it's a terminal type of business. You are on top for 5 years, at most 10 years, and you are down. So it is very important that in your heydays, you have to help our people to develop this investment culture so that they can at least put some small monies. Because research has proven that most people who become rich in their old age are people who start early contributions over a long period of time. Then by the time you get to 50, 60, then you are okay. So it is something that we will start to talk to our people and then encourage them to do so.
I'm grateful for your time. Rexoma is chairman of GAMRO, and we've also heard from Gation, who is with SNIT. We'll take a break on the Pulse. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest from the world of sports.